There you go.
I need to get my daily work.
Loved Kurt's service a few minutes ago. Charles and I went ahead and signed up last night to receive the Zoom service for Unity on the North Shore where Kurt is, and they had a meet and greet afterwards, and Karen Drucker was their musician today.
Oh, cool.
And just loved it. And when I turned on the screen, because their Zoom moderator was like 10 minutes beforehand, I looked up and Kurt was wearing a Scrabble necklace.
Oh, really?
That said 1 on it.
1.
Wonder where he got that.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I think it's the one I gave Karen Drucker.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know how Kurt got it. I don't know if it's actually one I made or when we taught the kids
like it.
camp. Yeah.
That's cool.
That they could call any name to themselves. So we got Patricia E on with us. I wonder if that's Sheena E's cousin. But anyway, I saw that because each one, as they were made, when I made them for my first trip up to Unity Village, that's what I took, to fill in that snow day before getting started. I made, I don't know, 30 or 40 of those Scrabble necklaces. And I know I came back and gave one to both Ricky Byers and Michael Beckwith because I happened to run into him. Remember that?
Yes.
When we went over, who did I go with over just to check out their health fair, and there they were walking in. You're just divine timing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, each one had an inscription on the back, just kind of like the ones that we gave out at were made for the Oak Ridge retreat.
Those were great.
Yeah, but I can remember making all of them. I was going, God, I recognize that. I wanted to ask him, hey, dude, how did you get that? Because I don't remember giving you one directly. Or did you give it to him, Donna?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not make any, so.
No, didn't I give you one?
I don't have one.
Okay. Well, I still have the original toolkit. It's in the minister closet at this Unity Church now. With all the leftover letters, I think all we have left is a bunch of ahs.
Well,
ahs are good.
Ahs are good.
Ahs pretty awesome.
But the most popular ones were B and 1, which I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So it is 10:30.
Okay.
I'm wondering where Reverend Condra is, or am I supposed to? I didn't think I was doing it where I had to let people in.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah, it said it was waiting for you to let me in, but then it automatically just went in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you sent out the email for us to be able to come in.
Right.
Right.
Good morning, Patricia.
Good morning. Your hair looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
As my Zoom people are waiting, I don't see anybody waiting to get in.
They're all on Facebook.
Well, let's see what's going on here. I know, Kurt, I just left a few minutes ago. They were still doing meet and greet. Or afterwards. They do something called a service in the garden. I think it's for everybody to get together.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. And I don't think anybody's going to object here.
There he is. I see.
There he is.
I don't know if I need to undo anything.
I see his name pop up.
Good morning, Reverend Condra. You've had a busy weekend.
Oh, I need a different background, don't I?
You can use your background. I loved it.
Unity North Shore, though?
That's fine, because I'm going to start the PowerPoint. You just watch, and you can zoom yourself in, because in the foreground of the first picture is actually a picture of your church.
Oh.
All right, so here we're going to go, and then we rehearsed yesterday, and this is our first experience, Kurt, with this. We are live streaming right now on Facebook. And
Wow.
if you want to stick around, because like I said, our service right now in this format has only been lasting about 40 minutes. If you want to stick around and just talk to Donna or whatever afterwards. But before we get started, I've been curious. Where did you get that beautiful necklace?
I wondered if you'd see it.
I did see it. I don't remember giving you one.
I don't remember when, but it's been rattling around in I don't wear a lot of jewelry, but it's been in a drawer, and I just thought, oh, I gotta wear it. I just gotta wear it.
Can I ask you what I wrote on the back?
No.
Okay.
I have a hard time getting it on and off. Can you read it upside down and backwards? Tim, it says Tim.
Oh, okay. You can text me what it says later when you do decide to untwist that piece of leather off the back of your neck.
Yeah, that'll take me 10 minutes.
I know. That's one of the reasons why I quit making them. I was doing them with little kids and they had a hard time getting that sucker going. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll start a little bit of music. It'll center us in, and then we'll just hand the beautiful atmosphere over to you and Reverend Donna. Here we go. There's people coming in, and I'm just going to hit admit everybody once they get here, okay? So,
Can I just double check one thing? I have an air conditioner on. I don't know if that's messing with the sound. Is there a buzz or a rattle or anything from my mic?
It sounds like you're in an Arctic experience, which is what we hear up here in the Pacific Northwest.
It's what you're accustomed to.
It makes us feel at home.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I'm going to start some screen sharing. And I'm going to
Hi, Eva.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Pat. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great. Great. I don't see Charles. Is he on?
I think he's on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Tim, not hearing the music. Not hearing the music.
Not hearing anything other than each other.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have it set up that way, but I will turn it up.
Okay. It's just very faint in the background.
Yeah, that's why we adjusted it all yesterday. And we're just going to keep running.
Okay.
That's a nice shot. Is that in your church?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's for you to pray us in, my dear.
Okay. So I'm going to light a candle. And let you look at that while if I can. How's that?
That's good.
Okay, good. So let us begin with a moment of prayer as we settle in and open our hearts. Thank you, sweet Spirit, for your presence with us and through us this day. We are grateful for your our continuing increase in awareness and understanding of your ways, your love, and your wisdom. We open our hearts and minds to bring this compassion into our lives for your service. We place our complete trust in you for the well-being of all living beings on this planet. And we know that your energy and love are bringing about the highest good for all concerned. Blessings upon all who support and participate in our service to one another, including those who meet with us electronically. And we affirm love and light for our guest speaker this week, Reverend Kurt Condra, as he shares his message of hope for all who hear. In the name and in the nature of Jesus the Christ. Amen. And if you will join me now in blessing our children in small bodies or tall bodies everywhere on the planet. We love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you just the way you are, and we behold the Christ in you. Amen. Good morning. I am Reverend Donna Little, and on behalf of Unity in the Olympics, located in Port Angeles, Washington, I welcome you to our Sunday celebration service. At this moment, our building is closed to gatherings, but our hearts and minds are ever open to share love and light with you. We welcome you wherever you are, and thank you for joining us on joining our virtual service on Facebook, on YouTube, and today also on Zoom. Let us focus our intention for this morning with an affirmation of the truth of our being as we recite together the Declaration of Faith, the fundamental principle of the Unity movement, as well as Unity in the Olympics. Together, there is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And let us say that a second time. And this time, speak it to your heart. Speak it to your heart. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. This is our Daily Word magazine. The Daily Word is a bi-monthly publication by Unity Worldwide Ministries in Unity Village, Missouri. With subscribers around the world, the Daily Word contains heart-centered articles, daily thoughts, and affirmations that help us and guide us along our spiritual journey. So today's word is appreciation. And the affirmation is, I am grateful for the good in my life. Today I take time to appreciate the abundance that is all around me. I notice the beauty of the natural world, the talent and dedication behind the music and art I enjoy, and the skill and commitment of the people who work to maintain a safe and orderly world. The more I focus my attention on everything I have to appreciate in my life, the more I notice even more blessings. I am eager to share the gift of appreciation. So I give my full attention to someone I care about when we share a meal or a favorite activity, or simply a quiet moment together. Feeling grateful for my life's blessings, I feel renewed appreciation for the love and beauty that enriches my life. Our Bible verse for this reading is from Luke chapter 10, verse 23. Then turning to the disciples, Jesus said to them privately, "Blessed are the eyes that see what you see." Join me now in saying our affirmation together. I am grateful for the good in my life.
Lately I've been noticing how much I've been blessed with people to love, peace of mind and happiness. It makes me want to pass along the love I've received as a way of giving thanks for what's been given to me. I've got a strong heart and I'm ready. I've got a strong love and I'm ready. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I used to have a need for more that bordered on greed, till I looked around and found that I had more than I need. I thought I had to have it all before I could share, till I realized what's mine to give has always been there. I've got a strong heart and I'm ready. I got a strong love and I'm ready. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Well, I may not make a difference that the whole world can see, but if I can show more kindness, that's what matters to me. I'm changing on the outside, finding gray in my hair, but the difference on the inside is that I don't care. I'm losing my desire to be what I'm not, and I have what I want, 'cause I want what I've got. I've got a strong heart, and I'm ready. I've got a strong love, and I'm ready. And I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. I'm ready to use the gifts I've been given to make this world a better place to live in. Yeah.
thank you. It is a joy to be with you all at Unity in the Olympics. My name is Reverend Kurt Condra. My home church is right outside of Chicago, so that's the background you see in the background. That's downtown Chicago. I'm from Unity on the North Shore in Evanston, Illinois, and we just finished our service, so thank goodness for the time difference. I'm able to join y'all. I really appreciate the invitation. We have a similar format on Zoom, and when we finished, we have what we call a garden chat. That's kind of a socializing hour. So we blessed you. We sent our energy to Unity in the Olympics, and we just know that, you know, beyond time and space, we are all connected regardless. So let's see, what else would I suggest? So see, I have this lovely necklace. Tim actually made this for me years and years ago, and it sort of speaks to the oneness and the connection that we all share. So I thought it appropriate that I adorn myself with that tonight, or to this afternoon. Oh man, these time differences are crazy. I know you guys are still in the morning, and I'm ready for dinner. I'm ready for barbecue. Let's see. So the talk that I prepared is really based, I'm sort of excerpting it from a series that we started here a couple of weeks ago, because there is so much happening in our world right now that it's really hard to get a handle on what's the spiritual response that we can have in these kind of circumstances. So the series I've titled Spiritual Solutions in Fraught Times. And what I want to talk with you about today is the idea of what I'm calling radical acceptance. It's really, I mean, it goes by a lot of names. It could be non-resistance is kind of another word for that. But it really, I think, in this time especially, we're called to embody it at a different level, right? Because things are so crazy. So I think what I would love to start with is to ask you to kind of imagine yourself, to visualize this, and then think about what might be happening within you, like what would be alive in you if this was really the circumstance that you found yourself in. Say that you are involved in one of the protests that's been happening around the country since George Floyd's death, right? I know they're in Portland. That's probably much closer to home for you all. We've got them here in Chicago. They're in Memphis, they're in Minneapolis, they're all over the country. And there are people who are just, whose hearts are breaking, who feel a sense of purpose and passion, and who want to be able to make change, right? So imagine that you're involved in one of those. Maybe maybe you're a participant and you intended to pee. Maybe you are walking along the streets and suddenly you realize that you're sort of being surrounded by folks who are in the process of really wanting their voices to be heard. So imagine that you're there. Imagine that you're in that energy and what that feels like. And then as you're walking, as you're marching, as you're sort of feeling the sense of purpose that these people are bringing, it starts to escalate. There's another side, the opposing side has made its presence known, and you're starting to meet, and there's just a different energy that maybe instead of purposefulness, it's more about self-righteousness. And maybe there's a sense of anger that's arising or grief because of all that we've been through. But there's something rising up in an energy that's a part of that. And you notice that it's even now becoming it's on the edge of erupting in violence. There are people maybe picking up bottles or picking up rocks, and you're in the middle of that, and what that might feel like, and how do you respond? What is a spiritual response to that kind of an experience? Because here's the thing. Even if you're not physically in that kind of place, most of us, given the round-the-clock news cycle, giving all of the headlines that we're in, most of us are at some point probably reaching down and picking up rocks in mind, right? We don't have to be there to start to have judgmental, maybe angry or self-righteous kind of ideas about what needs to happen in this circumstance for true change to come about, right? We're all kind of in that. If it's not in actuality, sort of 3D world, then it's the realm of mind and ideas. So a spiritual approach to that, I think, is going to be a really helpful tool for us to be able to move through these fraught times. And I think one of those tools that is most powerful is to move into a space of this radical acceptance. When I think about biblical stories or biblical lessons that might move us into that kind of an understanding or that kind of example, the one that comes to mind and the one that seems most obvious is one that I'm sure you're familiar with. It's the one of the woman caught in adultery. And I want to read that. It's from this is a passage from the book of John, and I just want to read that and have you sort of rest into it with an eye to, all right, how does Jesus respond when he's in the midst of this really dissentive, combative kind of energy? What's his response? And what does that look like for us as we sort of deal with our own approaches to conflict? So this is from John chapter 8. All of the people came to him, and he sat down and began to teach them. This is Jesus, of course. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and making her stand before all of them. They said to him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now in the law Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" They said this to test him, so that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let anyone among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone." And once again he bent down and wrote on the ground. When they heard it, they went away, one by one, beginning with the elders. And Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus straightened up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She said, "No one, sir." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go your way, and from now on do not sin again." So what I see in that is Jesus embodying this idea of radical acceptance at a bunch of different levels. This is coming at him from a whole bunch of different levels, and for each of one of those, he is totally present to what is in the moment. He is totally present to reality. Martha Creek would call this reality, being present to what is in the 3D realm. You know, very often when we're in these kinds of situations, what happens is we start to judge it good and bad and right and wrong. We start to put our own stories and values on top of it, and we end up sort of being hooked in this escalating kind of story and idea about how this shouldn't be happening, about how we want it to be different, about how it needs to be different, what somebody else needs to be doing to make it right. And it turns into this real sort of inward struggle for us, rather than just accepting the current situation, the present moment, exactly as it is. So here's how I see Jesus doing that. In the first incident, at the first level, right? He's present to probably first as this crowd approaches him and he sees them gathering stones and wanting to make sure that this woman is having to face up to the consequences of her actions, right? That self-righteous place. Jesus is totally present to that. He gets it. He knows that it's a real acrimonious kind of energy. But he doesn't respond in the way that many of us might. You know, he doesn't tell them they're wrong. He doesn't tell them they need to calm down. He doesn't need them to be a little bit patient and be compassionate. He's not instructing them at all in this moment. He's just present to what that energy is. And that, I believe, informs him as he moves through the other levels of being present to exactly what is, this radical kind of acceptance. At the next level, what he begins to accept, and he totally realizes what's happening with the priests who are there. They're trying to set him up. He understands that. And at some level, he accepts it. He's not going at them. He's not sort of confronting them on their ulterior motives. He's just present to it. He just knows that that's a factor into how he's going to show up for this situation. He's accepting where the priests are in their own perspective without having it to be different. Thirdly, of course, he's accepting the way in which the woman has showed up. He's totally forgiving toward her. When we get to the end of the story, he does not condemn her. He is not condemnatory of the actions that she's had. He does offer some coaching, but he has created an environment where this level of acceptance allows him to come from a space of spiritual, what I would call mastery, certainly, right? There's nothing in that situation that he is directly confronting or fighting against or pushing against or trying to make wrong or bad. He's totally accepting folks where they are and then choosing his own response from an understanding. You know, a lot of theologians have their own theories and ideas about what Jesus was doing when he knelt in the sand and was writing in the sand, and there's been a lot of speculation about what that might have been. I think for our purpose today, what I would suggest is that's in Unity Principles, that sort of prayer That's meditation. That's getting centered and grounded. He's like literally writing in the earth what the earthly circumstances is right now. He's grounding himself in what is. I think that's a perfect example for us and a real affirmation for about the teachings and the understanding that we bring to our own spiritual journey and our own spiritual mastery. So I want to share with you, I write a blog each week, and this week I wrote one that I was really kind of patting myself on the back about because I saw it. I like felt like I had this great awakening, you know, I'd moved into the next level of spiritual mastery, and I was kind of patting my back about that. And since writing it, I've had a different understanding about how that looks. And it's a new level or a new sort of, a new level of how each of us might be moving through that capacity or that ability or that call to be present to what is, that radical kind of acceptance. So the story was, I was sitting here at my desk, and as for my lunch, I had some leftover pizza. And as I was eating the pizza, I was not really paying attention, and I dropped it, and it landed face down on a white carpet that I really value very much. It can't be replaced. They don't make them anymore. So there's sauce splattered all over. And in that moment, you know, even as the pizza was falling, I like had this weird movie playing in my mind that was, it was replaying how I might have responded to that in another way from another consciousness. And I saw myself in almost this comedy where I was way overreacting and cursing and swearing about what was going down the phone. And as I watched it, I began to be amused by that depiction of the way I once would have shown up, right? There was no triggering. I wasn't angry about it. It was just like, that happened. And it's kind of comical how I've responded in the past. And I just calmly got up and went and got what I could to clean it up, right, in that moment. So when I was writing about it, I was like, wow, how great is it that I've come to a place in my own understanding that I don't react to stuff that would normally have triggered me. How cool is that? So to reward myself, I was going to go out. I was going to go to my favorite grocery store, which is a little bit further away, but they have the best produce. So I'm in the car, right, and my air conditioning isn't working, and it's very hot. So I'm starting to feel about that, have some judgments about that. And then the traffic is kind of sluggish. And when I turn on to the last mile and a half to get there, the road was under total construction. They were shut down to 2 lanes, and it was stopped traffic. So it was a 40-minute trip in what normally would have been 10. And all of that spiritual mastery and maturity I had about accepting what was completely out the window. I was frustrated and angry. I know a lot of us get that way about traffic sometimes, and I was also really aware that, okay, this is a new level of understanding, right? At the level that we saw Jesus demonstrating, he was all about kind of accepting what is in terms of the material realm, what's going on in the earthly experience outside of us. And we have that opportunity, right? We too can recognize that that's what is. I can't change it. As I can come to a space of acceptance about that, it opens up the possibility that I can respond from a completely different level of consciousness, right? So that happens in the outer. It's a whole nother thing when we start to turn that within, when we start to use that same criteria for our own experience. See, that's one of the things that I think Jesus was so beautifully demonstrating in that moment, right? He could have come from a space or had an impression about really wanting for himself to show up in a particular way, right? I was wanting myself to show up in that patience and calm and being able to be present to what is. And yet that's not the reality of my experience. And what Martha Creek would kind of say too is that there are points in our lives and our journey when we're prayed up, we've done the work, we've been exercising, we're eating healthfully, we've slept well, and so something happens and we're able to be present to that in a way that doesn't trigger, right? But that doesn't mean that's the way we're going to show up for every experience for the rest of our lives, right? There are times when those old triggers, those old patterns are still going to get their hook in us. You know, I think of it like a fish. You know, it's when there's no sort of conscious awareness of how we're reacting, but it's just got us. We're angry, we're frustrated, we're acting however we are, right? There are times when that's going to be our response and our reaction. There are other times when like we're just about to bite down on the hook and we remember, oh, wait a minute, I got a choice about how I can do this. And we can sort of back down from the unconscious reaction and come at it from a different place. And then there are the times when we can be fully present and be able to be that embody that sort of presence of compassion and love and light, when that's just available to us in the moment because we've done our work and we're prepared. But see, here's the thing. In order to be radically accepting, it means that we have to be radically accepting of our own experience, right? How I show up. If I bite down on that hook and I'm on it, and then I tend to start to be self-recriminatory about that, self-blaming about that. I should be doing this a different way. I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't be sick or ill. I shouldn't be angry about what my neighbor had done. I shouldn't be upset about the lie that the politicians are telling once again. If that's where I'm coming from, then I'm not being accepting of my current experience. That's what Jesus was really doing when he turned it back to, you who have not sinned can cast the first stone. It's like turning it back to our own sort of self-reflection and being able to be fully aware of what our energy is around it. And in that self-reflection, everything changes. In that self-reflection, suddenly we're able to be aware of the presence and power of God, even if we don't feel it, even if we can't see it yet, we're aware that it's there, right? We can rest in that faith of knowing that it's shown up before in other experiences of my life. I've made it to this point with support, with spirit, with the presence of God. So I have every expectation that that presence and power and support is available for me here and now. I just need to sort of be present to what is so that spirit can reveal itself. Yeah? So what I'd like to do now is maybe move into a time of reflection and meditation, and maybe see if we can't create an experience of being fully present to what is here and now, whatever might be happening in mind, because that's the other thing, right? Our thoughts, we can't really control thoughts. We don't stop them. We can't sort of choose the thoughts that are going to be there for us. They arise, right? They arise. And as we let them, we can choose to sort of let them pass, or we can choose to dwell on them, but we can't stop our thinking. We can't stop our feeling. Feelings are going to flow and arise. We can choose how we respond to them, but the flow of them is part of being radically accepting of our own humanity and our own experience. I just went on preaching when I was supposed to be getting us ready for meditation, huh? All right, this time I promise, meditation time. So I invite you to sort of begin by just you know what? Let's do a little bit of physical stuff. Maybe just hold your hands in fists and feel it tighten. And then take a deep breath, and on the exhale, just relax and open up. And then contract again, sort of bring it in and feel it tighten around. Just tighten your whole upper body and then relax and let go. And just know that that's a part of the flow of life, the flow of spirit. And next, I would invite you to just turn your attention to your breath. You don't have to manipulate it. You don't have to change it. Just pay attention to what is. How deeply are you breathing? How expansive do you feel your chest rising? Without changing, just completely present to what is. And it's in those moments of being fully present to exactly what our current experience is, exactly what we're physically feeling, that we can next move into the realm of what it is that we might be feeling, right? What emotions are you present to right now? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're energized. Maybe you're feeling eager and anticipatory. Whatever it is, just notice. Notice that it's probably just not one thing. You know, you might be able to identify a emotion or a feeling, but there's probably something subtle below that or following right behind it. There's a flow of your emotions. Can you be present to that? And next, see if you can use that same skill of observation to just see what's going on in mind. What thoughts are you holding? What thoughts are moving through? And know from this kind of broader, wider, fuller perspective that we actually have the capacity to be present to all of that at the same time. We can be present to what's going on physically within us. We can be present, fully present, to what's happening emotionally and in our hearts. And we can also be noticing what we're thinking. And it's this heightened level of awareness where we can really be fully present and available and accepting to what is in this current experience. Exactly what is, without having it to be different, without it needing to change, without somebody else needing to make something happen within our experience. We accept it exactly as it is. And most often the experience in that is a sense of freedom. See if you can't feel into that. See if you can feel a felt experience of what it would be to be fully present without anything having to be different, without you having to take any action, having to control any thought, fully present to exactly what is and being totally accepting of that. And now I would invite you to go ahead and put words to it. Those of us on Zoom, there are just a few of us. If you even want to speak those aloud, speak those into the space, and we'll make it true for all of us. You don't have to, but if you feel comfortable. I feel a sense of grace, personally. Maybe a sense of lightness, of something that I had been carrying having been dissolved or released. Sense of freedom. And as we know and trust that those qualities are ever available to us, all of us, at any point, and that this capacity to radically accept exactly what is, to be present to life as it is unfolding, and to know that in that there is a sense of perfection. Spirit is always with us. The infinite is always there. Whether we see it or not, it is ever unfolding into a greater expression of itself. And as we align with that, we actually begin to experience it. And in the experience of it, we become it. We become the change we wish to see in the world as we practice radical acceptance. So gently now, I invite you to, if you haven't already opened your eyes, to just become present to this moment. Notice what's going on around you. Notice Donna's cat crawling around on the desk. And notice just how good it is for us to be together in this moment to share at a time when there's so much sense of isolation and disconnectedness. We have this beautiful opportunity to connect. Thank you, thank you, thank you for graciously opening your Zoom meeting to me.
Thank you.
It is truly a blessing.
And thank you, Kurt. Thank you for being open to sharing your time with us. And it's great to see you. It's been a few years since I've met you at conference. So it's good to see you. And for those of you that don't know, I want you to be aware that Kurt and I attended ministerial training together at Unity Institute, and we were graduated together and ordained together in 2004, class of 2004. So in his bio where he says he's been a minister for 16 years, I said, 16 years? That seems like a long time.
Did I add wrong? I don't know.
No, you did fine. You did fine.
Yeah.
You did fine.
We're supposed to be the senior members of the Unity Ministerial Corps.
Isn't that amazing? Yes. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for cat hair. What is?
Love that cat hair.
Yes. I want to thank you for your message. It was very inspiring and very practical to be able to hear examples of how to accept a situation as it's happening and what to think about it, and not to judge myself if I'm not there today. That's really important. That's a part of what is also. And enjoyed the meditation too. So thank you very, very much for being with us. I invite you all now to join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. We are going to accept your generous tithes and offerings. We thank you in advance for these, for this week. I want you to know we have been using your gifts to maintain our facility and to do our work from this place, including enhancements to our technology. Here we are having a Zoom service, and the improvements to our other communications. So let's take a moment to hold the thought of our gift in mind and in heart, and join me in the blessing of our gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I give in love. Please send your gifts by mail to Unity in the Olympics at 2917 East Myrtle Street in Port Angeles, Washington, and that zip code is 98362. Or go to our website at www.unityintheolympics.org and click on the yellow donate button. You can pay there by credit card or by PayPal. So good to see everyone here today. I invite you to form with us our closing circle. Using our imagination, we gather here and we're holding hands, standing close, because we are safe in the powerful sacred space of Divine Mind. I invite you to hold in mind a loving thought of a friend or a loved one. See them joining us here in the presence of Spirit. Feel them here and behold them as whole, perfect, and complete as we bring to life James Dillett Freeman's prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. The health of God flows through us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is truly well. And now we get to sing the peace song.
With me.
So divine love prevails. Divine love prevails. Divine love prevails. Amen.